So Sandy and I are very happy to be here, and we thought we'd take a minute instead to talk about why we're so happy to be here and share our gratitude with RHD. On behalf of the unit that is responsible for executing the Transformation Decade celebrations, it's a mouthful. It's Provider Development and Transformation Initiatives. So on behalf of that unit, I can personally attest to how tremendous RHD has been in coming to almost all of the celebrations throughout the 10-month period.
Give yourself a rock.
We actually started this in February, and in February, Christine Gibson, but also Owen Kumuso came out to kick off back in February. So your participation started strong back then. RHD also submitted the most Transformation Champion Award nominations. You guys submitted 8. And I have to give the shout outs because if people don't make nominations, awards don't happen. So I want to thank Tracy Stevens, who couldn't be here today, but she submitted 2 nominations. Linda Donovan, Owen Kumuso, Patrick McNeil, Jim Paisecki, who also submitted 2, and Dennis Roberts. Also, RHD was the only provider to nominate DBHIDS staff, which I don't think we're that much.
Which I thought
And 2 great nominations, Roland Lamb and Tim Sheehan.
Yes.
I love you guys. I love you guys.
He'll be passing the hat later.
Which is also a great pause to recognize our transformation champions on DBHIDS, which we have Derek Ford. Tim Sheehan. Sandy Basco. And Marcel Schellner. So not only was RHD the only provider to nominate DBHIDS staff, they were also the only provider to attend the actual ceremony. You guys came very strong. Wonderful. It was great. No, I mean,
I felt like we were wedding crashers.
That's great. We're expecting the same turnout on the final day.
Good.
For the Peer Culture and Family Inclusion Celebration Expo, I don't know why I make things have such long names, but at the Peer Culture Expo, 4 of RHD's programs were not only present, but created exhibits. And I greatly appreciate you guys doing that. I know you can't bill for the time it takes to create exhibits, but you still made wonderful exhibits, one of which won Most Creative, which is Team Arrive. Also participating was One Step Away. Diane Pierce. Who won Best Overall Exhibit. And Fast Connections was also strongly represented with their Hoops for Homes. Also, they shared stories, and Mr. Guy Williams shared one of his poems. Team Arrive also came back to set up their exhibit for a second time at the Residential Transformation Celebration. Even though they're not here, I have to thank Kayvon and Hannah because they were very heavy, large white cages that I just went to Hanukkah Learning Center with. I had no idea how I was going to get them inside, and they stayed and helped me carry them all in. They were wonderful. So I have to thank them. I also have to thank Patrick McNeil for taking the time to come 2 days in a row and help Miss Jackie Chapman feel comfortable serving on the panel that day. And last but not least, Jim and Diane for being there and also promoting the final grand finale.
Amen.
Much appreciated. So all of those things are not why we're here today giving Transformation Champion Awards, but I felt like I had to thank you all very much for doing that. And now Sandy will share why she's excited to be here, which is much more relevant and applicable to why you guys are getting
I was thrilled when Andrea said to me, you know, I need someone to come along with me to RHD. We've got a bunch of awards. And
So Jay. Been a long road. It is an honor to be here. And I was like, Andrea, anything you need. Incredible group of people. And I want to sort of tell you why this piece, more than any, made such a difference to me. This is a long overdue celebration for RHD. Long overdue. You've just heard about 10 months of celebration that has been going on, about 10 years of work that's called Transformation Decade. And I was thinking a lot about this, and I thought, you know, Dr. Evans, you know, had a vision. His leadership sort of took us through many phases, put us internationally on the map, really has behavioral health an incredible sort of place in what we are doing. And he's moved this from being just a practice to really a mindset. It's how we think, it's how we act, it's how we talk, it's everything. But I really have to take this opportunity to digress. And I need to take you to an earlier history and explain to you why this is so critical to me. 25 years ago, I arrived here. Had no clue about Philadelphia. I came from Cleveland, and by comparison, there really is no comparison. And I arrived here as part of a team closing a state hospital. And for some young folks in the crowd, you may have heard of a place called Byberry. And for me, it was a very different transformation that was going on at that point. I'm not sure they called it that, but that's in essence what it was. It started as this closure process, and there were hundreds of individuals that finally were being given a chance to hope and dream about a life outside the walls that were filled with cracked paint and halls that were filled with vague faces. And it was a scary time. There was half of the world in Philadelphia that didn't want this to happen. And then there was another half that was just crazy enough to think we could pull it off. And right there, at that point, from the very beginning, side by side, walking every step of the way, was RHD. And we were going into uncharted territory. I mean, uncharted territory. Doing things and trying things that had not been tried before anywhere in the country. And there were champions then. Dennis Roberts, Bob Fishman, Marsha O'Hara, Peggy Moab, Sharon Kaufman, Norm Council. I mean, these are just some of the names of people that I considered transformation champions back then, who, at the drop of a hat, would meet, sit down, and say, yeah, sure, anything you need, we can try. It was not a time where you could say, no, we can't do that. No, that's not possible. It was a time of much debate, a lot of questioning, a lot of self-doubt. It was a time of struggles and a lot of satisfactions. It was a time of probably too many failures, but a lot of successes, little and big. But at the end of the day, we were always in it together, never stepped away. We finally closed the place down. It took us a bit, and then the real work started. We had to grow the system at that point. You know, we did a lot fast. We did a lot of quick programs, trained a lot of staff on a lot of things, and nobody had any idea whether or not it was good or indifferent or otherwise. All we knew was, at that moment, it was working. But we knew we had to build opportunity, and we knew we had to build community. We had to help the individual truly reacclimate. Some of these folks had lived in the hospital 40, 50, and 60 years. Had not been outside or off the grounds of off the grounds of PSH. And at that point, we had other champions that started to come to the table. And Julie Jackson was there.
Here I am.
And Scales joined us. Jim Kiyosaki was there. And it kept building. Then this thing called CBH started to get talked about. And, you know, this little seed of an idea, and people were meeting about it. You didn't know much about it, but you knew it was germinating. You knew it was going to be something. And people were talking about, this is what we need to truly put behavioral health on the map. So we thought, okay, you know, another transformation. We'll go through this process and we'll see what this does. And even through the trials of trying to get CBH started, RHD was there rallying along, you know, arguing with city council, walking the walk and talking the talk, saying, of course we had to do CBH. You know, who would think otherwise? RHD stuck at it. We stuck at it through lawsuits, deaths, more than I care to count, budget cuts, neighborhood opposition that could have buried most, NIMBYism, and you never really took your eye off of what mattered. You kept focused. You kept focused on, are people getting better? Are we doing the right thing by these folks? And do the folks really have the opportunity to realize their recovery? And so even more champions came online. And Ginny joined us, and Mark joined us, and Jamie was there, and Laura was there, and Rochelle was, everybody was picking up the banners and the pom-poms, and it was an effort that was just unmatched. It was this. The dedication, the tenacity. You never quit. You are what formed and informed this past 10 years of transformation in the decades. For that, I am eternally grateful. It's very important for me to note that you all know that you make and made a difference every day. Thank you.
More nervous now than I was yesterday.
Brandon, sorry you couldn't be here. I'm glad we're videotaping. This is for you, God. I didn't always need glasses. It is with tremendous pride. The nomination was submitted by one of the organizations that constitutes the membership of the Strength Alliance. So this is from a Strength Alliance member. It is with tremendous pride that the full membership of the Strength Alliance nominates Mr. Brandon McLaren. Strength Alliance represents a collection of Philadelphia-based organizations focused on attending to the needs and wants of the over 3,000 LGBTQI individuals in Philadelphia currently engaged in some form of commercial or underground sex work. Mr. McLaren has been instrumental in organizing our agencies and coordinating a comprehensive response to combat ills faced by the LGBTQI community. In fact, it is fair to say that the Strength Alliance may illustrate a best practice for how well collaboration works for the benefit of an underserved population. In a very short period of time, and under the very capable guidance of Mr. McLaren, the Strength Alliance has accomplished much. Most recently, the Strength Alliance organized the first annual Connecting Communities. The overall goal of the event included the provision of health-related information to all Philadelphia community citizens and a de-emphasis on the stigma erroneously associated with sex work and the LGBTQI population. This half-day event featured an assembly of over 30 social service organizations who offered educational and resource material to all attendees. Moreover, all attendees were treated to an afternoon of good food, inspiring speakers, and wonderful entertainment. It was an afternoon that gave proof positive of the possibility and benefit of Philadelphia's ability to come together as one valued community. Mr. McLaren was the instrumental force behind this wonderful day. In addition to the Connecting Communities event, the Strength Alliance has done so much more in supporting impacted members of the LGBTQI community seeking recovery to develop their resilience and to exercise the principles of self-determination. Once again, Mr. McLaren's involvement and leadership were instrumental. Over the past 18 months, the Strength Alliance presented its work in Philadelphia to a packed audience at a national conference in Denver, Colorado, focused on LGBTQI concerns. The Strength Alliance has also been an influential force in a variety of conferences, including, but not limited to, the Philadelphia Trans Health Conference, the Philadelphia Fights End AIDS Conference, and Philadelphia Black Pride, the Summit Ball. Mr. McLaren's contributions do not end there. In order to assist other agencies to better respond to the needs and wants of the LGBTQI citizens who may seek assistance with recovery, on behalf of the Strength Alliance, he coordinated a training that was available across the city on the topic of cultural competency. It was so well received that a second training section was organized, and overall, over 20 Philadelphia organizations benefited. Finally, Mr. McLaren has been a valuable team member in one organization's development of Philadelphia's first safe haven for emerging adults. His contributions have been many and by all means influential in the launching of this new and exciting service. Once again, the members of the Strength Alliance are proud to offer Mr. McLaren's name for consideration for this award.
Nominated by Tracy Stevens. RHD is excited to present Corporate Assistant Director Linda Donovan with a Transformation Champion Award. Linda's commitment to the transformation process within RHD has been both extraordinary and inspiring to those she works with and the programs she manages. Linda has been amazingly successful in helping programs achieve success both financially and clinically. She has been innovative in her ability to create and implement an enhanced clinical platform, which includes a pilot on fetal alcohol syndrome in conjunction with SAMHSA, which enabled the programs to better assist and meet the needs of those identified individuals. As a result of her work in that area, she was recognized with an invitation to join the SAMHSA FASO expert panel, in which she was proud to take part. Based on the higher level of acuity families were presenting with at the programs, Linda created and implemented a clinicians learning collaborative with a focus on trauma-informed care system-wide. This collaborative allowed a group of clinicians to receive more intense, clinically focused supervision. Linda's commitment and compassion for recovery is unprecedented, which is why, along with everything else, she is getting this award. Linda Donovan.
This nomination is for Jamie Motion. Ms. Moshe worked tirelessly and effectively to take RHD through the NIAC audit. Given the size and scope of our agency, and for a lot of other reasons, this was no easy task. I think she still bears the scars.
Problematic.
No, I didn't say that.
Just checking.
That's what it said on the paper. Ms. Moshe assembled over 30 of RHD's behavioral health care services in Philadelphia. She coordinated the efforts of a number of work groups who, over a series of weekly meetings, developed a common set of protocols, policies, and procedures for the provision of services that are evidence-based, outcome-oriented, and recovery-focused. Furthermore, she oversaw the improvement of the supervision system that emphasizes skill development, job satisfaction, personal performance, and group problem solving. Overall, Ms. Moshe made a substantial contribution in aligning and coordinating the services of RHD to respond best to the needs and desires of several hundred Philadelphia-based program participants. That was you. Ms. Moshe has also assumed lead responsibility for an additional campaign that has improved greatly the delivery of services for RHD program participants and for our entire workforce as well. Ms. Moshe continues to guide the overall effort by RHD to integrate the principles and guiding practices of trauma-informed care into all our service delivery systems, both in Philadelphia and across the country. Ms. Moshe oversaw a self-assessment of all our Philadelphia-based behavioral health and intellectual disability programs. The information gathered in this effort provided a clear path of the work to assist RHD to further its efforts in becoming a center of excellence in the utilization of trauma-informed principles in service delivery. The benefactors of this effort included not only the program participants, but our staff as well, who, like everyone, has been impacted by trauma in some form or fashion throughout their life. To assist in this effort, Ms. Moshe and a larger RHD team developed working partnerships with a number of area universities that have demonstrated clear expertise in the area of trauma. This powerful team has developed a curriculum that addresses issues identified through the self-assessment and a means of training and assessment that will assist RHD to further develop and refine the requisite expertise that good trauma-informed care commands. Ms. Moshe's work in this area has clearly seeded the bed of RHD with rich ideas and ample results of the types of systems and practices that will continue to exemplify and further contribute to the transformation of our behavioral health care system. Thank you.
Journey of Hope nominations, although nominated by one or two people, they were the result of somebody's name being mentioned over and over and over again around the amazing work that they do, and that's no different here with the nomination for Owen. Written by Deanna, and Deanna Leary, Project Assistant for Journey Hope, wishes she could have been here. When she saw the email about nominating folks, providers, she said, somebody better be nominating Owen Camuso. That's a quote. And then she got right on it, and I got to tell you, it's also, again, the culmination of a lot of the stakeholders within the project. So I do want to read these words that she wrote. This nomination for distinguished service is for Owen Camuso, Program Specialist with RHD Fast Connections. Owen is a tireless advocate for our participants and consistently goes above and beyond his job requirements, embodying the practice guidelines. Leading by example, Owen doesn't just talk the talk, but he walks the walk, something which can be rare. Despite Owen's busy schedule and many responsibilities, he often is able to carve out time to engage those in our system who are most at risk. Perhaps the best way to highlight Owen's dedication to transformation is through an example. There is a client who is a current resident in one of our city's safe havens. This client has a history of hospitalizations due to alcohol intoxication and had almost lost his limbs due to frostbite as a result of blacking out outside in the cold from heavy alcohol consumption. Owen assertively reached out to this client and made a connection. Instead of forcing the idea of treatment, Owen established trust and has built a strong therapeutic relationship with this client. Through consistent weekly meetings and phone calls, highlighting the small successes achieved and truly meeting the client where they are at. This client, who wouldn't even talk about sobriety or cutting back their drinking, is now attending therapy 3 times a week and has significantly reduced their drinking. While the client deserves much credit for making incredible progress, it's important to acknowledge that Owen's unwavering support and harm reduction approach created a space where the client felt safe and supported and was eventually able to make meaningful change in their life. I also want to point out that Owen attended the initial intake appointment for therapy with this client, which was truly above and beyond what the job called for. Owen has worked extensively with staff at the Safe Haven supporting this client, as well as worked across systems to advocate on behalf of his client. While this is just one example, Owen is just as dedicated in all of his work, truly exemplifying what it means to perform distinguished service. I can tell you that Owen is truly an inspiration to those of us within the Journey of Hope. In terms of people that are in the trenches, helping people with homelessness and the disease of addiction move to self-sufficiency, recovery, and wellness, there's very few like him in this system, and it's our honor to nominate Owen for this award.
I also felt that someone better nominate Owen, because he went through it, and if he didn't get it, that I would have been remiss not to have nominated him. And even though 2 other people nominate him, I think it's still worthwhile that I nominate him. Although it is, as you know, I like to be efficient and effective, so, but still, it should be done. So I did it. And we'll do it again. It's free. Owen Camuso believes and practices the values of recovery, resilience, and self-determination with everyone he meets every day. I think he's good. Owen is the embodiment of a fully practicing transformation champion. He believes, practices, and promotes these values with a constant, firm, yet considerate intensity at all times. His level of commitment and willingness to do what it takes is at a level that I've seldom witnessed in 25 years of service in community behavioral health. Owen is a dynamic individual with highly developed engagement and assessment skills, which has led him to be the go-to person at Fast Connections, as well as outside agencies and funders. He is frequently called when an individual or family have burned their bridges and fired everyone who has tried to assist in a person or family's recovery. Owen is straightforward while molding his approach in order to meet the individual where he or she is, respecting both the person and situation. He actively works to have the participant take the lead, empowering the individual to make choice, even if the choice may not be considered the best by most. He respects the person's choice and is tireless in helping the individual learn from choices. This tireless support has had him spend hours meeting with individuals on porches, shelters, hospitals, attorneys' offices, street, or wherever the individual feels most enabled to talk and move towards recovery. His manner is such that he can interject moments of candor and counsel without it being rejected due to his obvious caring and concern. He aptly doesn't feed into an individual's delusions or periods of rejecting him. He simply continues to patiently and calmly work with the individual, carefully reaching out to continue building the rapport so needed to assist the individual in his or her success. Owen easily multitasks and networks, which has made him an acknowledged expert in our agency and others in processing housing applications, which are extremely important, benefits.
It's really complicated and difficult
I-
time, and he gets it, and he got it before anybody else in the entire behavioral health system, entire billion-dollar behavioral health system.
Identification and other community resources. This ability and his willingness to share have benefited numerous individuals as well as staff through our agency. Due to the reasons just mentioned and so many others, I strongly nominate, and he won, Transformation Champion Award.
I'm being told to read some things, and you guys might know, imagine me. I'm going to put in some of my own. Everything these two gentlemen said is true. Everything we talked about, individual client level, the folks that he works with, the ability to work with people no matter where they are in their recovery. There's a stage pre-contemplation, and Owen works with those folks in an incredibly amazing manner. But I also want to highlight his organization skills, his ability to communicate. Owen knows who he's talking to and can make, no matter who he's talking to, understand what he's saying and make sure that the person that he's trying to serve is at the center of that, but he can move that forward. That person he's talking to may not know. They may think it's all about them, but Owen knows who it's about and moves that and helps and assists that person forward. I'm just so happy to be here and reading some more of this as well, because we are just so grateful to have him in the system and a part of the team. Owen epitomizes the definition of a transformation champion in our provider community. Everyone who's come in contact with case management or homeless services in Philadelphia knows his name and will immediately share the wonderful experiences they've had with him once his name is mentioned. His reputation is impeccable due to his tireless commitment, dedication, collaboration, morals, and unprecedented work ethic. The only person who sends an email earlier and later than I do in the system is Owen. He's a role model for his peers in the provider community and DBHIDS. He's an amazing supervisor. He's brought along so many people in case management and homeless services. He doesn't just hold on to his knowledge, he shares it and is constantly coaching and supervising other people so that those individuals can even try to begin to function at his level and do what he does. So that helps even more. It's exponential how many people he touches from how he supports other staff as well. He's a primary contributor to successful implementation and growth of fee-for-service case management in safe havens and shelters. He effortlessly balances operations with meaningful relationships with participants. He's a strong and level-headed advocate when going against any challenge or obstacle faced by staff or clients. His understanding of procedures, policies, the overall system of healthcare and housing, as well as how to respectfully navigate them, is absolutely unmatched. When working collaboratively with all parts of the system, he maintains the utmost professionalism. He takes confidentiality very seriously, and he is respected for his strict adherence to his values of honesty and transparency. Whether it's a meeting, a lease signing, street outreach, a street count, court appointments, Owen is always the person that steps up to fill the gap and meet the needs on behalf of RHD Fast Connections, his colleagues across the system, and all individuals to make sure the best possible care and service is achieved. Owen is also a recovery champion. The list is a very long list. He's been a leader in making case management a positive and meaningful and specialized career option for young adults instead of just a stepping stone. He's committed to celebrating and recognizing others by submitting STEPI awards, NOCCM nominations, and even a Transformation Champion Award. He presents multiple times a year at case management conferences to spread and sustain the model of harm reduction in case management. He's a role model for collaborative relationships with, I'm not even going to go into the alphabet soup that we have downtown and here and other agencies, but he understands all of those pieces and he always makes them work together in order to serve the individual. He goes above and beyond for every individual and every case manager, with especially by participating in a warm handoff between levels of care. That can be really hard to get to, and he does it so well. He never misses volunteering for a quarterly point in time count. For folks who don't know, that's oh, can you be on the street from about 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. and help us count and talk to and engage individuals, and Owen is always there. He's founded every single fundraiser or community event for homeless services. He does street outreach for hard-to-engage clients identified by DBH or OSH in early morning hours before he even starts his workday. He's the lead trainer for Safe Haven and case management for harm reduction models and service coordination meetings, bringing together, again, all of those pieces trying to serve the individual. But he always knows that the core focus of those groups is always the individual. He responds to crises and deaths by making time to facilitate grief and loss groups at shelters. Shelters have had many suicides, many challenges. Owen is always there to support absolutely anyone. He's always available to his colleagues for guidance, advice, and support. And we are just so grateful that Owen's a part of helping end homelessness in Philadelphia. So Owen, thank you.
Registered Joyner, the head of come up with CTI. That's not the TCM. Sandy for sure, and Ann Ryan. This is the four of our baby. This is the baby. This is the one that this is the other one which I felt I had to write because if somehow this 10-year celebration could happen and Fast Connections wasn't acknowledged in some way, shape, or form, and if it wasn't, at least I had put in my attempt for it, I would have been remiss on my part, and I think if they hadn't been selected, the nominators would have been remiss on their part, because this is something of long development. It started a bit before 10 years, but not much. It started out as Connections, and then moved to Fast Connections and Fast, and then Fast Connections. So anyway, Fast Connections, RHD's targeted case management service, has embodied our system's transformation principles for the last 10 years. Fast Connections, with its humble beginning as a program-funded unit with services provided to one male shelter, Ridge Center, and one female shelter, Eliza Shirley, has grown and matured into a dynamic targeted case management service, providing behavioral health service to 14 shelters in the Philadelphia area, as well as providing ongoing service to individuals as they move into the community. Fast Connections is an established, fast, effective, and compassionate service delivery team that serves over 600 individuals every year. In its effort and work to connect with and assist the disenfranchised and disillusioned, Fast Connections has long practiced the values of recovery, resilience, and self-determination since its humble beginnings at the Ridge Center and Eliza Shirley. However, the development of the DBHIDS practice guidelines provided a platform to embrace and promote them, both within their own service delivery system, as well as throughout the other agencies who came into contact with Fast Connections. This has been extremely beneficial for the Philadelphia shelter system, which was unaware of these values and utilized Fast Connections as its primary trainer model of these principles. Their presence in the shelter, combined with their attitude that individuals served have the right of self-determination, has improved the overall delivery of service and treatment to individuals experiencing homelessness in Philadelphia. Fast Connections has worked extensively over the past 10 years within the OSH shelter system, DBHIDS, CBH, and a host of other service agencies to provide ongoing services to the individuals with behavioral health issues in Philadelphia. Fast Connections has always been ready when requested by DBHIDS or OSH for various services beyond the initial scope of the program. These services include grief counseling, crisis intervention, and working with special situations that are not able to be covered by current social service resources. Fast Connections has become one of the top service agencies in completing housing applications quickly and providing the support needed for both individuals and families moving into their new homes and becoming stabilized for a lesser degree of service. Their work has demonstrated the power of having a place of one's own and having someone who cares, in jumpstarting an individual's recovery process. I'm really glad they do that. Acknowledging the individual's journey and success is a core component of the Fast Connections culture. In fact, Fast Connections has a graduation ceremony every 6 months where individuals, many who first became connected just off the street, celebrate their graduating into the next phase of their recovery. It is a touching ceremony complete with the caps, speeches, testimonials, and food where the accomplishments of those served are honored. While the connection is decreased, it is not relinquished, since the staff and consumers are united as caring human beings, knowing that each has helped each other in their own recovery. It is for these reasons that Fast Connections has been a transformation champion by promoting, developing, and practicing the values of Philadelphia's system transformation. And this goes to Ann Ryan, Owen Camuso, and every other Fast Connections.
Wow. Wow, now you see what I mean. Pretty potent stuff, isn't it? You guys do an incredible job every day. And it's just unwavering. There's no other word for it. Diane, you want to come up and sort of celebrate and
I do.
tell your folks all the exciting things?
Actually, you know, as we thought about this gathering today and the fact that Sandy was going to be with us in a more intimate setting than in the convention center, which I hope everybody goes to, we were thinking too that, you know, it's been a friendship and a partnership of 25 years. And you have, for us, been, along with others, but Sandy as a core heart and soul of this transformation for us, and an anchor. And I think that we were trying to figure out, well, how do we honor that in an RHD style?
Wow.
So we have this amazing little program, not so little anymore, called United Peers. And we have this amazing artist named Mr. Alonzo Stokes. And I'd like to have Mr. Stokes come up and offer to you his first piece of art.
TV, was flat screen TV that way, and I decided to join. It just came to my mind to sketch it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's called Awaken.
It's called Awaken. Well, this is why we do what we do every day. This is what makes transformation real at the end of the day. So congratulations to all of you. Celebrate, enjoy, and congratulate the people next to you because you're all transformation champions.